a veteran of the U.S. Navy. Our next guest served as a submariner and diver, taking part in multiple deployments in support of the global war on terrorism. He earned a Bachelor's of Science degree at Florida State University and a Master of Public Administration at Syracuse University. Please welcome the President and CEO of Student Veterans of America, Jared Lyon.
Good afternoon. So I bring you greetings from Student Veterans of America's national headquarters in Washington, D.C., and on behalf of our 750,000 student veterans on one of our over 1,500 campus chapters in all 50 states, U.S. territories, and 3 countries overseas, I say hello, and it's good to be amongst my fellow Legionnaires. In addition, I'd like to thank you all for getting me out of Washington, D.C. for a couple of days. So Student Veterans of America is committed to acting as a catalyst for student veteran success by providing the resources, network support, and advocacy to, through, and beyond higher education. Believe it or not, SVA is just a little younger than the American Legion, and we'll celebrate our 15th birthday in January at our 15th National Conference. And since our founding in 2008, our success and ability to meet our mission has been compounded by the excellent relationship that we have with all of you in the American Legion. So backstage a little earlier, I was chatting with Shannon and Joe Sharp from your DC office, and as a Legionnaire, they asked me where my cap was. So I have to embarrassingly admit to everyone, when I joined the Legion, my hair was a little bit longer, and I may have had a ponytail at the time. So my cap no longer fits, but I'm gonna fix that and make sure that I get a new one. I've been to this convention quite a few times, and usually when I present to all of y'all, I talk about what SVA is doing to empower our nation's student veterans and their family members to, through, and beyond higher education. But over this past year, as we've come out of the pandemic, I've had the chance to reflect on our partnership with the American Legion and what this community has collectively accomplished. And that's what I'd like to talk to you a little bit about today. As I mentioned earlier, SVA will turn 15 years old this January. And in that time, over 1 million veterans have used their GI Bill to pursue higher education. At a foundational level, these past 15 years, and the veterans who have benefited from the post-9/11 GI Bill are only possible because of the American Legion. I'm sharing nothing new with this room when I praise the ingenuity of a former American Legion National Commander, Harry W. Comary, in drafting what would become the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944. But I don't know if we, collectively, have taken a minute to bridge what his work and what it means for the American Legion and for Student Veterans of America today. At SVA, we strive to build on the honor and the legacy of service and commitment to education that Harry W. Comary established. It's why our partnership means so much to me. We, together, represent what Comary envisioned when he penned the original GI Bill. A community of veterans empowered and uplifted by higher education, serving our fellow veterans, and ensuring a brighter future for all Americans. That almost sounds too lofty to be true, but I promise you it's not. In fact, there are a few people here at this convention today who are tangible representatives of the legacy of Comary and the bridge between the American Legion and Student Veterans of America. Those people include Addie Thampy, founder of the Irvine Valley College SVA chapter and former SVA chapter president, and now legislative associate for the American Legion, advocating for disability and memorial affairs. Matthew Brennan, former SVA chapter president at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and now the education policy associate at the American Legion. Ashley Gobarja, former SVA chapter member and scholarship awardee, current public affairs specialist with the VA, and current host of the Tango Alpha Lima podcast, an all-around veteran rock star storyteller. And lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't end with sharing the story of a good friend of mine, John Kamen. Kamen was a chapter leader at American University in Washington, D.C., and actively engaged with SVA headquarters in some of our earliest days. We were lucky to have him join our headquarters staff after serving several roles before he joined the American Legion in the Washington, D.C. office. Since joining the Legion staff, Kamen has testified before Congress. He's met with leaders across the executive branch and advocated for numerous legislative and regulatory changes that benefit millions of veterans. But his most recent work deserves its own moment of appreciation. As a grassroots coordinator, Kamen built an online campaign that sent 34,000 messages to Congress in support of the Honoring Our PAC Act. 34,000 messages. Can you imagine being on Capitol Hill when tens of thousands of Legionnaires made their voices heard? The PAC Act is one of the largest expansions of VA benefits to date, is now law. Kamen, your grassroots leadership played not only a small part in making that possible, but I don't think I'm making too big of a leap in saying that your career with SVA and now with the American Legion laid a strong foundation to make that possible. So I'd not only like to thank John, but today is John Kamen's birthday, so if we could give John Kamen a round of applause. So folks like Ashley, Addie, Matthew, and Kamen have contributed to our community in unique ways, but they all share a few traits. They started their careers in the military, they led their SVA chapters while on campus, and are now serving veterans as a part of our American Legion. Our partnership makes this possible. Our shared commitment to veterans in higher education, to seeing veterans as a leadership solution that America needs, and making the careers of Ashley, Addie, Matthew, and Kamen, and those former student veterans unnamed here at this convention, as well as those from across the country like them, it's made it possible. Beyond the stories of the leaders that I've shared with you today, our collective work of the American Legion and Student Veterans of America together has advanced conversations and legislation on closing the 90-10 loophole to ensure student veterans are not the target of predatory schools. A shout out to Will Hubbard, who's also here for that work. Improving the GI Bill benefit eligibility for members of the National Guard and Reserve, protecting GI Bill students from losing their housing and tuition payments at the onset of the global pandemic, and improving the post-9/11 GI Bill through the Harry W. Comary Veterans Education Act of 2017, or as we like to call it, the Forever GI Bill, which just celebrated its 5-year anniversary. That list is far from comprehensive, but it's an account of what our shared history has led to. But it does illustrate the value of investing our time and our resources to secure a better present and future for all veterans. Sharing the success and impact of our work is not meant to imply that our job is done, however. In fact, quite the opposite. I share the names of the leaders and a short list of the accomplishments that we've done together to encourage and inspire our work to continue together to address the challenges that all veterans will face moving forward. The world as we've known it has fundamentally changed over the last few years. Shifts in our economy, global healthcare challenges, racial and social justice issues, and 1,000 other things that you're all thinking about as I say challenges and complex problems. These problems affect all veterans. They also affect all Americans, and oftentimes they affect our global community. We, together, must remain committed to cultivating future leaders like those that I've highlighted here today, and the millions more veterans who will serve as leaders to come. Doing this will bring energy and innovation so that we might continue solving these challenges as a collective community. Collectively, we can continue to solve the problems that our future will be. I'm physically here to show SVA's commitment towards the promise of our shared work, and I look forward to working alongside all of you here at the American Legion to realize our continued potential. It's an honor to work alongside the American Legion for the last 15 years, and I cannot wait to see what the next 15 years of partnership brings us. I would like to take a last minute here to ensure that you all receive an invitation and a welcome to attend SVA's 15th National Conference, held at Disney's Coronado Springs, Florida, from January 5th to the 7th. And it's a premier opportunity to engage with student veterans from across the country. We've always appreciated a strong American Legion presence at our national conference, especially from the post level, and I hope to see you all this year. I'd again like to thank the American Legion for welcoming me here to your national convention and welcoming SVA chapter leaders to your posts across the nation and welcoming the promise of our shared potential. And though I've been a member of the American Legion for some time, I am officially becoming a Puffle. So I just wanted to share that with all of you first. Thank you all for your time, and thank you for your support of veterans in higher education. Thanks.